Thank you for joining me for this episode of 15 Minutes of Murder, Ask a PI. I am Desiree Edwards, your resident crime expert and everybody's favorite private investigator. Again, thank you for being here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and that is appreciated. But let's talk right quick, y'all. What we gonna do with all these cameras? Like this stuff is like low key stressing me out. I remember when I was a kid, one of my favorite songs was the song called "Somebody's Watching Me" by this dude named Rockwell. Oh, and just a quick trivia: Michael Jackson got uncredited songwriting or vocal credits on this song. Hit me in the comments if you know better than that. But I think Michael Jackson was related to the song or in some way. But the song, the hook was like, I always feel like somebody's watching me. And oh, and so this is like 1983 when this song was out. Yeah, y'all, I'm that old. Okay. And so, but as a kid, I had no idea that when I grew up, like it would really be like that. Like I would be in the grocery store buying shredded wheat, and not only do I have a big old surveillance camera from the grocery store hanging above my head, but it might be people like creeping on me with their cell phones and their glasses and all that kind of stuff. So it's a problem, right? And we're going to talk about it. But before we do, click that subscribe button. I need y'all to have our backing and these likes and these subscriptions because Craig been on our necks about this content, and we got to get it together for y'all, but we can't do that without your support, right? So subscribe, share, spread the word, do all the things to help us grow so that we'll stick around for y'all forever and ever and ever and give y'all all this dope 15 minutes of content that we are preparing. All right, so back to these cameras. So yeah, they're everywhere. They're in the sky with these drones. Police officers are using them. And I gotta kind of like mixed feelings about that because I know where that could be helpful, but I also know where um that small opening, and it ain't even such a small opening, but that opening is there for an abuse of power, right? So recently here in the Detroit area, there's a story in the media about the Michigan State Police had just recently used a drone to respond to someone's complaint of a stolen car. So instead of the police arriving, they sent a drone up and they found these people's car. So I'm with something like that because if I call the police and I'm in distress, like real talk, I want the police to arrive however they arrive, right? But at the same time, we know that it can be a problem. And one of the ways that I am finding it as a problem is that all of these cameras, they kind of leave people with a false sense of security and safety that isn't really there. Like I have seen cases where people have ran up on a house on the porch and snatched the camera off the porch and went inside and did whatever it is that they needed to do. And so no one saw what happened past that person snatching the camera off the porch. So, but that person felt like that camera was there to protect them. Or even to be able to provide the police with some information. And it, in fact, was not. Another way that I am finding this to be problematic in my work is that it's causing tension in our legal teams because our clients is like, Des, go out here and knock on these people's door and get the ring cameras because everyone assumes that everybody's house has some kind of home monitoring system. And the truth of the matter is, when I go knock on somebody's door and I'm like, give me your stuff, they're like, girl, I'm not giving you nothing. So there's that issue that I run into. But some people that they not paying that subscription for whatever reason. Times is hard. Y'all see how much gas costs. And your Ring camera subscription or whatever company you use, they may not be on your priority list of paying. Okay. And then even if the footage is there, um, the way those people may have their cameras positioned, that angle may not have reached the action that the client is looking for. So now the client is mad at me because I'm the investigator and it's like this, you ain't doing your job. So whenever I'm talking to my friends and this topic of cameras come up, I always tell them, whenever you are out and about, just assume that you are being recorded because it's not illegal to record people. And that's real jacked up. Um, but again, it is that benefit and that pro and that con with it because the First Amendment, right, that allows you to record the police officers and all of that, it is the same one that allows people to record you when you trying to pick your nose or grab your underwear out your butt as you standing there pumping gas into your car, right? But are there places where we should assume that we are not being recorded? Absolutely. And what are those places? Locker rooms, restrooms, doctor's office, hospitals, anywhere that you are receiving some kind of medical care, you should not be recorded in those places, right? And so outside of those places, we're kind of on our own, except there's an exception. And the exception is if you are recorded in public, what that person does with that video makes a difference. So if that person uses that video to harass you, to defame you, or use the images that they record of you to gain some kind of financial benefit, you might got a cause to contact an attorney. And so but when they are recording you and you find out that they have done so, what you do with that depends on your level of anger, right? So if you are a little mad, you might just contact them and say, I need y'all to take that down. But what we also know is that ain't how the internet works. So if these people then posted your video or your picture or whatever on the internet, even if they remove it, it's still there in some way. All somebody got to do is head down that Google rabbit hole, and they're going to find it. Now, if you're big mad, you're going to consult an attorney. And I tell people all the time, you can find an attorney to file a lawsuit on every corner. They will do it. The problem is, will you be able to collect on the judgment you receive? And that's if you receive one. Because if this person is just working 9 to 5 like all the rest of us are, and they're not wealthy the way most of us are not, there's a possibility that you won't be able to collect on any judgment that you are awarded. But not only that, your attorney, you're going to have to pay them. You're going to have to pay their attorney fees and all that kind of stuff. And whatever you get, what they get is probably bigger than that. So now you're left probably in a worse position than what you started. Now, if you like me and you're petty and sometimes stuff is about the principle and not that reward that you get back, then it might still be worth you go ahead filing that lawsuit. But that's something that we gotta think about. But for real, y'all, like these drones, let me tell y'all something. I recently had a Fed case, and I watched the feds attach the drone to the bus that this person got on. That drone followed that bus from one side of the city all the way to the other side of the city. I watched that person get off that bus, walk into the fast food restaurant that that bus let him off on. He walked behind the restaurant, put something in the trash, went in his restaurant, placed his order, left out the restaurant, walked up the street, and went to the house that he was going to. And I saw all of that like crystal clear as day, right? So, and this was maybe like, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. So if the technology was like that back then, it is way better than that right now today. So yeah, we got to do something about this. All I can say, y'all, is just when you're out here, um, just behave in a way to where you think somebody is watching you. If you one of them people where you feel like you want to look good wherever you go and you don't want to be caught slipping, do that fit check before you leave the house. Get those fresh lock retwists. beat that face, all that kind of stuff, because we're honestly living in an era where we are under constant surveillance. All right. So with that being said, I feel I done talked enough. Be good, be safe. I'll catch you in the next 15. Have a good night. Bye bye.